I was able to get up a little early today and I had some good sleep, so I decided to do this recording while I'm in my car, and then I'm going to go back into my buddy's place, upload this, and then head out. That sounds like a very weird logic, but it's the best I've got. And hey, you don't have to hear that rumble now. So, let's get into this. I woke up day 2. It was looking nice. I was kind of in a hurry because I had slept in. It was just a long day. So I was just like, okay. I woke up at 6:30 instead of 5:30. So I just kind of rushed out, didn't take a shower, and was kind of... My friends were joking that I stank, but I really didn't. I didn't smell that bad at all. Anyway, it was a beautiful morning in Bremerton, and I parked near the harbor, of course. Found a good spot, $9 a day, so that's not bad. And I really enjoyed it. I think I snuck this one while the ferry was arriving, so enjoy it. And it was just a beautiful morning. And I had the same breakfast I had the day before. Man, this feels kind of boring, and I apologize for that, but these notes are for, you to know what it was like to be on this trip, and not any major analytical studies, though I'm going to mention them in this. Anyway, I had this for breakfast. It was great. Then I went and I recorded myself, and then I wrote up the day 1 write-up and posted it, and that was good. So I was doing pretty well. And here it is in a better shot. Ooh. And I saw people already dressed up, ready to go, and okay, that wasn't the same kid. Later on I see kids dressed this way, and I thought it was the same ones, but it wasn't. So people were dressed up on the ferry, ready to go, and this is what you're supposed to see. This is what it looks like from the camera point of view of that mountain. But it really feels like... here, check this out. Lots of wind. Just a beautiful day on the ferry. And this is the mountain close up. I think our eyes somehow close in on things, because that mountain is way bigger when we look at it. It feels like that. And yet, if you look at a camera, it's much smaller. So I think our eyes have some kind of weird focusing trick that zooms in on large objects in a distance. I don't know why we do it, but we do. And, this is this ferry to Seattle. You can see the Space Needle there. It's a beautiful morning. People have been putting puzzles all over the ferry, and I think people have just been putting them together and taking them apart and doing what they can. It just helps them deal with the time, and I thought that was a really cool thing. So I took some pictures while I was about to leave. And they're doing construction on the ferry where I was, or not the ferry, the ferry dock. And so they've got these boards up, and I was like, wow, yeah, of course they've got those boards. Anything goes flying, it hits that board instead of, that guy. And it was a good day. I mean, this looks kind of gritty and stuff, but it has its beauty, And it's just a great day to just walk around, take pictures. There's Seattle's national bird, a construction tower, and I thought that was really cool, so I made sure to take a picture of it. And this is just the turn I take. I literally just go down the street to the convention center, and over there is, if you kind of look, see that red building? Below it is the train station, and then right next to it is the monorail that I take all the time. And this is the arcade room as it is while I was setting it up. So I didn't turn on any machines because I didn't know which ones were working. We had that problem. Oh, and check this out. We got these flyers like last minute, so I was like, oh, gotta show these off. And the who are they? The Living Computer Museum dropped some stuff off with us. Honestly, they could have had their booth in with us, and I would have been okay with that. And this is the machines turned on, or what machines we could get turned on. There was a lot of opening and shutting and stuff, and these are folks. Oh, he built this the blaster himself using a 3D printer and painted it. Somebody else painted it for him, one of his daughter's friends. So he had to show it off, and I was like, oh, there you go. And, after that, I just basically stood at the door and told people to go in and took pictures of people in cosplay. Watch this. You'll notice something interesting about this is not everybody is dressed in cosplay. This isn't a majority of the people. But if you ever look at any pictures, you'd see nothing but cosplay. So you would assume everybody was dressed as the Kyoki, the Kyoki warriors. I'm saying it wrong. But really, they're a minority, a very noticeable minority. But, we make it look like there's more. And I just basically stood there and watched people pose and prepare things and watched the guy do the lanyard. And, oh man, wait, is this what I think it is? Yup. Okay. So, I took a picture, or I somehow videoed my crotch for a while. I am jealous of that guy's physique. Wow. And these are just people prepping for pictures, and they were standing right next to me, so I was like, okay, yeah, I should get a shot. Vanellope never actually went into the arcade, in case you're wondering. And it eventually got to the point where I was like, why don't you go into the arcade? It's an arcade. You're Vanellope. Go in. Haven't you seen your own movie? But, yeah, her husband was like, well, we escaped it. Don't you understand? We've escaped the arcade. I was like, okay, I can see that. And then we have just lines and lines of people, just people dressed up and people taking pictures of them. And then the people dressed up have to prepare themselves for a pose. And that kid is Dragon Ball. And it's just common stuff. Oh, I love her face. And that guy basically stood there in front of me the entire day, yelling about lanyards. And I think this is another crotch shot. Yup. I'm going to have to delete these. Okay. So I went to Subway for lunch and talked to the girl there. And she was like, well, I'm from Seattle because this is where I was raised. I'm really from this other place, but I'm from Seattle. And I was like, oh, man, that sounds like half the people I knew in Hawaii who were just like, oh, I'm from here. And I was like, no, you're from like 5 different places. And it's okay to be from 5 different places. And they just wouldn't accept it. But anyway, and, she was very adamant. She thought I was a jerk for asking where she was from. Really, I was like, oh, where are you from? Renton, Redmond, stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, on my way back, I right before I got to the Comic-Con, I noticed this girl at the stop, and I was like, hey, you've got goosebumps. That's got to be cold. And I was like, can I take a picture of your goosebumps? And she was like, okay. She thought it was weird, but I was like, no, it's really cool, You're putting a lot of effort into this. And she's like, yeah. But I had to take a picture of her normal wives as well. And she's like, thank you. And, this is the Pinball Museum. It's found somewhere in Seattle. I've never actually gone in. But he's a great supporter of the Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show. So I had to take a picture of this just so that people knew that there was an extra set of pinball tables, in case somebody was wondering. And yeah, just basically walked around and looked at people. This is what an anthropologist sees. He sees the cultures around him, the various ethnic groups, the various people. You see the volunteers, the paid people to be there, and then the people who are just paying to be there. And, oh, yeah, samurai, yeah. And I asked if I could take a picture of him, and he was like, oh, so long as I'm frowning. But this is a great example of all he has to do is stand there and tell people that this area is full, you couldn't go in, the panel, that is. And I was like, so who's in there? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just supposed to stand here and tell people. And that was his job, was just to stand there and tell people that the panel was full. And that's part of a volunteer's life is, you're assigned to do things, but you don't always know all the details in it. And she was really nice. Somebody was like, they're going to start dressing like this one of these days once they have warmer clothing. And I was like, yeah, sweaters and pants. No, the stuff covering her up will warm her up. And it was an interesting conversation. I think I scared off somebody. Anyway, here's another shot of the arcade with people in it. Oh, and yes, that's a grunt. And he didn't want his picture taken directly, so I'm just taking a shot of the arcade so that you can see what it was like. And the reason why I'm speeding up is I'm literally having to pivot on my feet. So there we go. You can see kind of the amount of people going in. And there's Thor McDonald. And it's a great shot. And this is just the night shot.
Go on in. Sorry.
Round 4 or 5, I took this shot. You can see it's just kind of the numbers are dwindling, the people are changing, the way they move, the way they think, the way they do things. And, there's still cosplayers, there's still people coming in, but I am having to do different things to get people into the arcade, and that's my job. And yeah, there we go. Oh, she saw something and she just charged at it like a warrior. I was like, can you give me your warrior face again? And this is the best she could give. But about this point, I was like, okay, I'm done. My shift is over. I'm going to actually go explore stuff. And she was one of the first things. And saw my buddy Brian. This is the first time we've met in real life. And he's like, oh, we got to get a selfie. And I was like, okay, fine. And then his wife was like, can I get a picture of you taking a selfie? So I took another selfie. And I don't like selfies. And you can guess who these ladies are. And they were very, very careful about, we have to be organized this way and we have to look this way and this is how we smile. And they were very much so into, making sure their character was perfect. And I went into the indie area and played this game. It's a robots hunting dinosaurs by picking up trash and throwing it at dinosaurs, and then picking up dinosaurs and throwing them in the trash, which sounds weird, but was a really fun game, actually. And her entire job was to point people into the indie area. You're basically passing just these ordinary hallways, and the doors are open, but nobody knows what's inside. So people's jobs are to tell people to go inside, and that's what I did. And that's what a lot of other people were doing. And this is just a cool shot. See, there's a companionship cube. And there's Chell. Yay. His daughter, obviously. And the guy saw me taking a picture of his game, and he's like, hey, you want to play? And I was like, okay. It's actually a tower protect. The little characters aren't going to survive unless you put towers up to protect them. And I saw some flyers, and these shoes are being sold at Amazon, so I'm going to go start looking for them. I just thought they were really cool. And Voltron was here. I've been told that they've been ganging up. The people here for Voltron have been ganging up on folks. So that's cool. And as I was leaving, I saw that Kirby was there. There was a Nintendo booth. I didn't know about it, and people had been asking me about it, and I was like, I don't know. I haven't been on the exhibition floor yet. Exhibitor floor yet. So I grabbed a badge and just toured. And I saw people dressed up as I started to leave. and I just kept on walking to the ferry. Oh, lock gate. If you're ever at the ferry, there's this gate. There's just this kind of this handrail, and on the gate or on the chain link fence, everybody has put locks, and it's just this really cool spot. And this is just the ferry, and it's the same amount of people. And as you can see, they're dressed up. The guy dressed as Doctor Strange started changing as soon as he got out. And yeah, just people just hanging out, waiting for the end of the day. And that was pretty much my day. On the ferry, I met a radiologist, and I met a kid from Shelton. He's actually an hour away from Shelton, but he says he's from Shelton. And he was like, yeah, I'm not very good at college, so I'm trying to figure out life. I want to be an artist, a music artist, but I don't know what to do. And, this costs a lot of money. Oh, but this is a major thing for me. And he was dressed as one of the villains from the first Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright. And you find out that his mentor is kind of even worse. And so, you can see this character change. And this guy liked it because he used to be pre-law. And he wanted to become a lawyer, and he didn't make it. So it was a fascinating ferry ride. That's why I wasn't able to make the video or write any articles. I'm going to write the day 2 article while I'm on the ferry. But it is time for me to head back. And when I got back, I played a couple of games just to see what this new TV was like. And let me say, the screen was really nice. I suck at Tetris Attack. I we had to put it into easy mode so that we could actually beat the level. Me and Adam, we just hung out and played for a little bit, and we checked out how the screen held up for various things. And really, it's got the best blacks and the really good brights. So I really enjoyed that. And then I went to bed and had a great night's rest. So this is the end of my conversation with you. So on to day 3. Catch you later.